Hi, I'm Liana. Working as an event coordinator for prestige planning means I'm constantly surrounded by the elite of New York City, though I rarely interact with them beyond confirming menu selections or seating arrangements. That changed last Tuesday when I was assigned to the Richardson Foundation's annual charity gala. Liana, this is your big break, my boss Marlene said, tapping her red nails against her tablet. Maxwell Richardson donated $40 million to cancer research last year alone. Don't mess this up. I've handled difficult clients before, I assured her, scrolling through the event requirements. Richardson isn't difficult. He's impossible. 3 coordinators quit after working with him. Marlene's eyes narrowed. But his money spends just like everyone else's. When I arrived at the Richardson estate, a modern glass mansion overlooking Central Park, I was immediately directed to the grand ballroom where preparations were underway. "You must be from Prestige," said a stern-faced woman in a gray pantsuit. "I'm Helen Morris, Mr. Richardson's personal assistant. He's unavailable but expects progress reports hourly." "Of course. I'll need to review the space and confirm the technical requirements," I replied. As Helen rattled off specifications, I noticed a girl about 15 years old sitting alone in the corner, sketching in a notebook. Something about her stillness amid the chaos caught my attention. "That's Emma, Mr. Richardson's daughter," Helen explained, following my gaze. "Don't worry about her. She won't bother you." Throughout the day, I observed how staff members either ignored Emma entirely or spoke to her in exaggerated, uncomfortable ways. During lunch, a caterer nearly knocked over her drink when she didn't respond to his question. "Hey, kid, I asked if you wanted more water," he said impatiently. "She can't hear you?" snapped a young Asian woman who approached rapidly. "And she has a name." She signed something to Emma, who nodded with a small smile. Later, I approached the woman as she was organizing a portfolio of photographs. "Hi, I'm Liana from Prestige Planning." "Miss Chen, I'm Emma's interpreter and tutor," she replied coolly. "Has Emma been deaf since birth?" I asked. Miss Chen's expression softened slightly. "Since age 4. Meningitis. Mr. Richardson hired the best specialists, but her hearing couldn't be restored." "Does everyone here know sign language?" Miss Chen laughed without humor. "Hardly. Mr. Richardson knows the basics but is too busy. Most staff just avoid interacting with her. They think communication would be too difficult." As Miss Chen was called away, I watched Emma flip through her sketchbook. Walking over, I clearly saw beautiful drawings of the venue decorated for the gala. When Emma looked up, I smiled and signed, "Hello, I'm Liana. Your drawings are beautiful." Her eyes widened with surprise, then her hands flew up. "You know sign language? Really know it, not just the alphabet?" "My cousin is deaf. We grew up together," I signed back. "I've been practicing since I was 6. Emma's entire demeanor transformed. "Nobody here talks to me directly. They either pretend I'm not here or speak through Miss Chen. Their loss. I'd love to hear your ideas for the gala. These designs are amazing." "You would?" Emma signed, her movements suddenly shy. "Dad never asks what I think about his events." When Miss Chen returned, she stopped short, watching our signed conversation with evident surprise. Emma turned to her excitedly, signing too rapidly for me to follow completely. Miss Chen's expression was unreadable as she studied me. "It seems you've made quite an impression." "Emma has some fantastic design ideas," I responded. "Has she shared them with the planning team before?" "No one has ever asked," Miss Chen said simply, just as my phone buzzed with a message from Marlene. "Urgent. Richardson wants a progress update now. Don't disappoint." As I hurried to prepare my notes, I glanced back to see Emma looking at me, a hopeful expression on her face that made me wonder what else everyone had been missing by failing to communicate with the billionaire's daughter. The next morning, I arrived early to find Emma waiting by the entrance, sketchbook in hand. Her fingers moved quickly as soon as she saw me. "I stayed up all night working on these ideas. Do you really think they're good enough to show people?" "Absolutely," I signed back. "Your perspective is unique. You notice details others miss." Emma led me to a table where she spread out her designs. Her concept incorporated subtle motifs of healing and growth, with innovative lighting that would change throughout the evening to represent different stages of recovery. "This is genuinely impressive," I told her. "Did you come up with this yourself?" "I attend every event," Emma signed, watching from corners. "No one realizes I understand everything happening around me." Miss Chen appeared, eyebrows raised. "Emma skipped breakfast to wait for you. Unprecedented." "Her designs could transform the gala," I said. "Has she shared these with her father?" "Mr. Richardson is practical. He sees these events as necessary obligations, not creative expressions." Miss Chen hesitated. "But perhaps you could include some elements in your presentation?" "I'd like to include all of them," I said decisively. My colleague Tyler arrived, surveying the papers with a smirk. "Cute arts and crafts project." "These are Emma's designs for the gala," I explained. "Right. The kid who doesn't talk." He lowered his voice. "Smart move, getting close to the boss's daughter. Fast track to a promotion." I switched to sign language. "This is my colleague Tyler. He thinks I'm using you to advance my career." Emma's eyes widened before she laughed and signed back. "People always underestimate me because I'm deaf. They do the same to you? Because I'm young and female in a male-dominated industry? Constantly?" Tyler shifted uncomfortably. "What are you telling her about me?" "That you're impressed by her concepts, but too shy to admit it," I replied sweetly. Throughout the day, Emma shadowed me as I coordinated with vendors. During a meeting with the lighting team, Emma tugged my sleeve and signed rapidly. "The proposed lighting will wash out the art display. The pieces need focus spots with amber undertones to highlight the gold frames." When I translated her suggestion, the lighting director looked skeptical but tested it anyway. The difference was immediately apparent. "The kid's got an eye," he admitted. "Where'd she learn that?" "By watching," Miss Chen said, joining us. "Emma observes everything." Later, while reviewing seating charts, I found myself surrounded by Emma, Miss Chen, and Sophia, the foundation's marketing director. "You can't possibly be suggesting we use a child's drawings as the basis for a $10 million fundraiser," Sophia said when I presented Emma's concepts. "I'm suggesting we use a fresh perspective," I countered. "One that happens to come from Mr. Richardson's daughter." "Mr. Richardson doesn't mix family and business," Sophia argued. "That's why Emma attends but isn't involved." Emma's hands moved angrily. "I've attended 37 foundation events. I know what works." After I translated, Sophia's expression softened slightly. "I didn't realize you were counting." "I count everything," Emma signed. "Like how you've worn the same black dress to the last 4 events, how the chicken is always overcooked, and how donations increase by 22% when there's live music instead of recordings." Miss Chen couldn't hide her smile as she added, "Emma has been analyzing these events for years. Perhaps it's time someone listened." "Richardson's never going to approve this," Tyler warned as we compiled our presentation. "That's why we're going to show him the impact first," I replied, outlining my plan. "Emma knows exactly what will resonate with these donors. We just need to prove it." As everyone dispersed to continue preparations, Emma stayed behind, signing slowly. "Why are you the only one who talks to me like I'm really here?" "Because you are here," I signed back. "And you deserve to be heard, even if it's not with your voice." Emma's smile faded as she pointed toward the entrance. I turned to see a tall, imposing man in an impeccable suit, his eyes moving between Emma and me with evident confusion. "That's my father," Emma signed, her hands trembling slightly. "And he wants to know what's going on." Maxwell Richardson strode toward us, his presence commanding immediate attention. "Emma, what are you doing?" he asked, speaking and signing with stiff movements. "I'm helping, Dad. Liana understands my signs," Emma signed quickly. I translated and Richardson's eyebrows rose. "You sign fluently?" "Yes, sir." "Emma has been sharing some brilliant design concepts for the gala." "That's not part of your job description, Miss Moore." "Creating the most successful event possible is," I countered. "Emma's insights are invaluable." "I have meetings until 7, he replied, checking his watch. "Emma, we'll discuss this at dinner." "You won't be at dinner," Emma signed bluntly. You're never at dinner. When I translated, Richardson's jaw tightened. That's not fair. When was the last time you asked what I thought about anything? Emma continued signing. Richardson turned to Miss Chen. Is this accurate? Does she feel excluded? Emma has attended countless foundation events without any meaningful participation, Miss Chen said carefully. Until Miss Moore, no one has bothered to communicate directly with her. Why wasn't I informed? With respect, sir, I interjected. You could have asked Emma yourself. Richardson nodded curtly. I'll review Emma's concepts tonight. Have them sent to my office. Later, Emma appeared with Miss Chen. Dad wants to see all of us in his study. Now. In Richardson's wood-paneled study, he stood behind his desk with Emma's designs spread before him. These are remarkably sophisticated, he began. I'd like to understand how they were developed. Emma signed confidently while I translated. I've been designing in my head for years. The diamond-shaped lighting represents the Foundation's 4 core values. The color progression symbolizes the journey from diagnosis to recovery. Why haven't you shown me these before? You never asked. Everyone treats me like I'm invisible because I can't hear. That's not true, Sophia interjected. We've always been respectful of Emma's condition. Respectful? Emma signed furiously. You speak slowly and loudly like I'm 5. I can read lips, you know. After I translated, Sophia flushed. I was trying to be considerate. By talking about me in the third person when I'm right there? That's not consideration, it's condescension. Richardson held up a hand. Enough. I've been remiss in fostering proper communication. Miss Moore, can Emma's designs be implemented in time? With immediate approval, yes, I confirmed. You have it. But I want Emma's involvement acknowledged. Richardson looked at his daughter. Emma, would you consider addressing our guests at the gala? With Miss Moore interpreting, of course. Emma's hands froze, her eyes wide with shock. You mean stand on stage? In front of everyone? It's your design, Richardson replied. Who better to explain it? I've never signed in public before. Emma's hands trembled. What if I make a mistake? Absolutely not, Sophia interrupted. Our donors expect a certain level of professionalism. Emma straightened her posture and signed with precision. I am a Richardson. This foundation bears my family's name. I've sat quietly for years. It's time I had a voice, even if it's through my hands. After my translation, Richardson smiled for the first time. Well said. It's decided then. As we left, Emma grabbed my arm, her expression a mixture of excitement and terror. What have I done? I can't do this. Everyone will be staring at me. Yes, you can, I assured her. They'll be watching because what you have to say matters. The night of the gala arrived. The venue transformed under Emma's vision. Shifting lighting, multimedia displays showcasing patient journeys, and interactive elements allowing guests to leave messages of hope. Emma's hands hadn't stopped moving all day, practicing her speech obsessively. Minutes before guests arrived, she cornered me. I can't do this, she signed frantically. What if they laugh? They won't laugh, I assured her. They'll be impressed. How do you know? Because I am, I signed simply. You've transformed how your father's organization communicates in less than a week. As guests arrived, Emma remained beside her father as he introduced her properly. Richardson insisted on including her in every conversation, with me interpreting discreetly. She designed everything you see tonight, he explained repeatedly with evident pride. As dinner concluded, Richardson approached the podium. Tonight represents something new for our foundation. For years, we've talked about giving voice to those who aren't heard. Yet I failed to recognize that within my own family, someone was waiting for her chance to speak. Emma walked onto the stage, her steps measured and confident. My daughter has been attending these events since childhood, observing and creating. Tonight's design is entirely her vision, and I've asked her to explain it herself. Liana Moore will be interpreting. Taking my place beside Emma, I watched her hands begin to move, hesitantly at first, then with growing assurance. For years, I've watched how people react in this room, Emma signed, where their eyes linger, What makes them reach for their checkbooks? What stories move them to tears? I've observed how color affects mood, how lighting directs attention, how space influences conversation. As she described her design elements, guests leaned forward, captivated. When she explained how the shifting colors represented a cancer patient's journey, several attendees wiped away tears. Being deaf doesn't mean I don't have a voice, she concluded. It just means I speak differently. Thank you for finally listening. The applause was thunderous, something Emma couldn't hear but could feel. Her father joined her on stage, embracing her publicly for what Miss Chen later told me was the first time at any foundation event. As the evening wound down, donation totals confirmed the gala had broken all previous records. Richardson found me supervising the breakdown of displays. Miss Moore, I owe you an apology and my gratitude, he said. I've been surrounded by people afraid to tell me the truth. Emma's never been afraid, I pointed out. She just needed someone to translate. A role that shouldn't fall to an event planner, he acknowledged. I've already discussed having the entire staff learn sign language. Later, Emma sought me out, her father and Miss Chen following. What happens now? She signed. After tonight, do things go back to how they were? Richardson shook his head. No. I've realized how much I've missed by not truly communicating with you. That changes tonight. He's enrolled in an intensive sign language course, Miss Chen added, and the foundation is creating a new position for you, creative director for events. Emma turned to me. Will you stay and work with us? I still have so many ideas. My contract is with Prestige, I began, but Richardson interrupted. I've already spoken with Marlene. She's willing to make arrangements. Plus, I need an interpreter I trust, Emma signed. Someone who sees me, not just my deafness. As we finalized plans for the next event, I reflected on how quickly things had changed, all because someone finally spoke to a girl everyone else had been ignoring. You know what I've learned this week? Emma signed as we parted. What's that? I asked. Sometimes the most powerful voice in the room is the one no one hears. Have you ever met someone who was being overlooked, only to discover they had something extraordinary to offer? Share your story in the comments below.